Continuing our investigation into the attempted assassination of Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania in July 2024, the FBI has become under increasing pressure and criticism from the public for apparently taking too little time to analyze the crime scene and not leaving the crime scene available for the congressional investigators to come by and take a look. So what's really going on? We're going to look into this today, and we're also going to look into the Secret Service and discuss about these 5 Secret Service agents that were placed on leave a couple of days ago and see if we can get some more information about that. Now, you remember on a video that I released over a week ago, I talked about Representative Clay Higgins' investigation as part of the Trump Investigation Task Force. He released the report. It says Higgins releases preliminary investigative report. And you can see this picture right here shows him walking on the roof of the AGR building doing his investigation. The FBI released all first responders that evening, much to everyone's surprise. I interviewed several EMS, cops, etc. So this is what had so many people concerned, because they thought, well, maybe that wasn't enough time to interview all of these people. I don't know how many people the FBI showed up with, but usually, like when there's a murder scene somewhere, the detectives show up with a few people, they interview all of the witnesses, and then they release everybody, and if they have additional questions later, they can call them back. So who knows? What do you think? Was that not enough time for them to hold them? What else did they need from them? Did they just need to get a quick statement from them as to what went on, what their participation was? And here's another one this is what had people kind of talking. I've been getting comments about this for weeks now. And this is the FBI released the crime scene after just 3 days, much to everyone's surprise. Okay, so the local news had covered some of this in the beginning. I just wish they had showed us a lot more of what was going on top of the roof there when the FBI was investigating. But make no mistake about it, for 3 solid days, the FBI was there on that site, and they were going like gangbusters with lines of agents going up and down all over the place looking for bullet casings and any other evidence that they could use in the investigation. So it is likely that in those 3 days, they probably did a reasonably thorough investigation. Do you think they wrapped up that scene too soon? You know, look at a typical shooting murder scene. How much do you really need to capture? They probably got everything. And when you look at that tripod that they had set up, that to me, I don't know if that's a LiDAR or not, but that means they're digitally mapping the whole area as well. They even worked into the night on the investigation. And what started to complicate things now was about 2 or 3 days into the 3-day investigation on site from the FBI is when the lawmakers decided, hey, we're going to launch investigations into the Trump assassination attempt there. So this was 2 different congressional panels. So now some of the members of Congress are kind of blaming the FBI, and they're saying, hey, they knew we were doing this investigation, that we were starting this, and yet they tore the site down and everything and just released it and sent everybody home. So my question here is, okay, I know there's always going to be like political ramblings going on both sides here, but typically when you see a congressional panel investigation, it's typically done at Congress, and people show up. People are dragged in there all the time, and they sit down at the tables and they give testimony before Congress. So that is what I would have assumed would be our investigation, right? So now they're complaining, well, FBI shut everything down. They're covering up. They cleaned everything up. They hosed down the roof before we even got a chance to get in there. And so is that a right complaint to make? In my opinion, they should have been more loud about telling the FBI when they announced the investigation that they were starting not to close up shop there. Leave the scene there, leave it roped off. We want to come see it. Who would have ever suspect that a bunch of congressmen would get into a bunch of minivans and drive out to the site and climb onto that roof themselves? And then the other one here that was kind of surprising, you know, the FBI cleaned up the biological evidence from the crime scene, which is unheard of. Cops don't do that ever. So right here, we are looking at the only photographic evidence I've seen so far of the FBI hosing down the roof to get all the blood off of there. So was there any danger in leaving all of that blood just dripping, running down the roof there? Does it create any kind of biohazard? Does it attract a whole bunch of pests and flies and fleas and all this other nonsense? Or can they just leave it there? And then my other question here is why, if it was so important to Congress and it was so important for them to get out there and make names for themselves and say, we're having this commission here, and they got out there Monday morning to say that, why didn't they get in their minivans and just drive out to Butler on Monday? That way they would have still been there with the FBI. They could have seen what was going on, how they were running the investigation, and they could have told them, don't close down this crime scene. Or why didn't anybody even notify the FBI? They're saying, well, the FBI doesn't live in a vacuum, and they should have been aware. Well, you know what? There's a lot of people that maybe should not have been aware. Why didn't Congress why didn't somebody get on the phone and say, hey, Ray, tell all your guys out there to leave that crime scene alone. Don't shut it down. But instead, these congressional members didn't even make it out there to the Butler rally site until July 22nd. So that's when this video here was shot. Okay, so a couple of days ago, it broke on the news, or here's CBS showing that Secret Service places at least 5 agents on leave in the Trump assassination attempt probe. So right here it says the U.S. Secret Service has placed at least 5 agents on leave, including the head of the Pittsburgh field office, as a result of its investigation into last month's assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump, according to multiple sources familiar with the matter. So what I'm wondering here now is this disciplinary. Are they finally holding somebody accountable here? Or is this just standard procedure whenever there's an internal investigation like this? Kind of like when there's a police shooting, they often will put the officer on some type of administrative leave. So this is an important nuance to know here. So here's what's strange about this here is the Secret Service spokesman, Anthony Guglielmi, declined to confirm the agents were placed on leave, saying he would not comment on a personal matter. But he said the service's mission assurance review is progressing, and we are examining the processes, procedures, and factors that led to this operational failure. And then he says here, the Secret Service holds our personnel to the highest professional standards, and any identified and substantiated violations of policy will be investigated by the Office of Professional Responsibility for potential disciplinary action. So whenever Secret Service people are placed on administrative leave, they're usually taken out of whatever job they were doing and doing some kind of other type of paperwork. They still collect a paycheck and everything until it's determined that maybe they don't deserve a paycheck. And you know what else here is they could be suspended either with or without pay. If you get suspended without pay, you lose your security clearance. So looking through some of the comments, here's one here. See, thought the guy on the roof had long pants on when on the roof. No, he didn't. Every video we ever saw of that guy, he was wearing shorts. Nice try. And then somebody here says, Jeff, people see pants because the guy is so pale. Yeah, but by now, even though everybody in the world has probably seen the video of him walking on the grounds of the rally, they should know by now that he was wearing shorts. I mean, every picture we've ever seen of him, it was obvious shorts. It was never even close to being looking like pants. And let's see. And then here's another one of the blue shirt guy. This is the one, remember I told you when I showed the video last week of the shooter walking through the crowd, everybody is starting now to point to this blue shirt guy. Yeah, they're trying to drum up a conspiracy there where there is nothing. And here's another one, see? When he's on the roof, he's wearing pants. And here's one here, something else I heard on another video. The guy claimed that Crooks was wearing pants up until the point that the officers made it onto the roof. So if anybody is claiming that on any other video, you know, these are videos you shouldn't be watching because they're not even close to being the truth. And then here's another one. And you notice how they always hide behind a lady's profile? This probably is not even a real profile. But it says here, I don't think that's him. When he got shot, he was wearing camo pants. That's not even vaguely close. So they all keep saying the same thing over and over again. These right here are all just antagonists. Pants on the ground, looking like, okay, I know that one. Now this guy here tells it correctly here. He has shorts on. Looked like long pants as he mounted the roof. No, it didn't. Then shorts again after he was shot. So you get the idea. The trolls are not letting up. Like they can't just give up on something that's already been proven weeks ago. And it just seems like every new video that comes out or every new piece of evidence that comes out, All they want to do is find some little pixel that's out of place or some person on there and say, oh, look, this guy's a conspiracy right here. Look what he's doing. And you know what? At the end of the day, there really isn't any evidence yet. Now, people come down on me hard. They criticize me all the time, saying, you're against conspiracy theories and you're so quick to shut them down and blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm quick to shut down the ones that are obvious jokes. If you have a legitimate conspiracy theory, I'm open to it. But nobody has yet given me any real evidence of a conspiracy. I want to see an email from somebody high up in Secret Service that says, let's not protect Trump on that day. Let's not put somebody on that guy. Oh, we need a patsy, and we need a shooter to take out the patsy. And we need a shooter to take out the shooter who takes out the patsy too. Let's get all of that. Show me something like that, and I'll believe you. But until then, you have no evidence. And if this is your first time here on the channel, make sure you watch these other 2 videos here and be sure to binge watch all of the other videos I've done in this whole Trump assassination series. And keep those questions coming, folks, because I have plenty of answers, and we'll see you on the next one.